Hello, everyone, and welcome back. If you are just tuning in, we're heading into our second series of the night. First one was a 3-0 by the Saints as they now tack up yet another win. My name is Visions. I'm joined with Andy, also known as Proper. We don't get to cast together too often, so obviously I'm having a great time tonight. Our first match was very fast, Andy. We'll see what this next one has in store here for us.
Yeah, definitely closer as far as the first two maps are concerned, I'm sure, than what St. Clair wanted. But swift work overall as far as the series is concerned. This one could either be a lot closer or it might just be the same. You see it right above our ever so beautiful faces. The Aggies going up against Tamu. I remember this is not the same Tamu Maroon that we got all the way back in the Modern Warfare 2019 year, although the college does have that championship in their hallways. This Aggies team is coming a little different, though, as they're ranked number 9 overall in the power rankings.
Yeah, these guys have been juiced up on the power rankings without a doubt. Number 9 coming in. I mean, a lot of expectations based off of at least what we've seen. It's been, a lot of great highs so far coming into the season. So, trying to keep that train rolling versus a very well-known team throughout CCL, I feel like could be great. On the other side, Texas A&M Maroon, this guy's 3-3, still looking to try to hit that Modern Warfare form, still trying to find some of these key wins here, Andy.
And here is that Tamu roster. I mean, if there's one thing that they definitely have over the Aggies, it is going to be seniority. You see the three seniors there, Quiet, Blake. I always choke up on this. Is it Hira or is it
Hira?
I'm gonna go. I'll go with Gira and Antics. I like
Hira.
that.
Let's
I like
do
you.
that.
I like the way you say things. Yeah, this 4-player roster being 3-3. They have that 0-3 loss versus Oklahoma Christian University. That is Cruz & Co. We do have a Kiwi in the CCL, and they are looking pretty darn good. So you're almost expected to lose out on that one. 2-3 loss versus IVC. It was a map 5 round 11, and then losing to the Hilltoppers as well. Those are their 3 losses. They do have some notable wins. Of course, that map 5 win versus Westcliff University is probably one of the notable ones.
Absolutely the case here for us. And we're also getting at least, something from production. Both teams are technically the Aggies. So now I'm not from the States. So I feel like I don't know, how some of the college things work. Can you break this down for me, Andy? How are both teams the Aggies here for me? Do you have the breakdown? Am I putting you on the spot?
What's funny is that, especially when it comes down to the amount of universities and colleges and everything else that we have,
right?
Especially through the United States, I'm not surprised that it was going to happen at least once that we'd end up having the same mascot being represented on the opposite side. Now, I'm pretty sure that when it comes down to Texas A&M Maroon, that like their actual mascot, I'm pretty sure it's like a collie, isn't it? I think it's like Reveal or something like that. Yeah. No, it's not a border collie. It is a collie. It is a lassie dog. Border collie is an entirely different breed of dog. Do not make me flex my master's degree on you today, sir. Anyway.
All right, here's the other roster. We're getting pushed along. Oh boy, it's been a fun one. It's going to be a fun night for anyone that is just tuning in. But I think a lot of people probably going to know at least some of the players here on this roster. Phenom, that's Joltin, Jose, and Electric? I don't even know.
Electric MC. It's the Electric MC.
All right, fair enough. Electric MC. We'll be gassing these guys up as they get into game here very, very soon for us. But either way, like we were kind of framing up, Andy, coming into this one, a huge matchup. A lot of these players have been playing really well. Phenom, I feel like, is someone that is almost always going to jump off the page, especially with some of his performances we've seen as of late as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Phenom's been impressive for New Mexico State when you're thinking about it, right? Is that you really do feel like that any one of these 4 players can deliver at any points in time. And when you have a name that is an EV evolution like Jolteon, I'm expecting you to have some pop-off moments. They have that 2-3 loss versus Texas State, which is very respectable if you ask me, because the Bobcats out of Texas State are looking very good. They lost that map 5 in a round number 10. Here's the overall series look ahead. And again, it's that control, that map number 3 that is always going to scream out to me, because even if we do go even as far as map number 1 and map number 2 is concerned, that swing map mode combination might just pay dividends. You can see that Texas A&M have definitely played a lot more hard points, being at 6-4 comparatively to 4-2. Real consideration has to come out, especially because New Mexico State, from one of their wins that they have, is unfortunately a forfeit win versus the Battle Cats. So that's probably where we're probably seeing a little bit of inflation on the opposite side.
Yeah, that's fair. Ultimately, match up decently well. SD records, basically tied. We'll see how that one kind of comes together. The respawns, they'll be really interesting, especially the control. I mean, 4-1 right now. for the Aggies, I feel like these guys really have that mode down to a T. But we'll see if that continues to hold true. On the other side, that at least hasn't really been, one of the go-to map mode combinations. So we'll see how it comes together, man. When teams are like this closely matched, when it comes down to a lot of the statistics, it's really difficult to kind of say which way it's going to go until you see the maps and which teams kind of have their comfort coming into a best of 5 like this, when everything at least seems to be tied on paper.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the media consideration, isn't it? Like, what maps and modes are we going to end up playing out? I mean, when it comes down to it, you better hope that you have a diverse map pool, because you don't really know what the other team is going to be looking like. There's not a whole lot of VOD is what I'm getting at, unless you are on broadcast, or unless one of these players do stream, or one of the colleges stream the matches as well. There's not a whole lot of give or take when it comes down to studying up on your opponents. Obviously, when it comes down to New Mexico State, you'll probably end up having a little bit more VOD, but I mean, for me personally, you just have to be able to win out in the veto process. To allow some of these maps to come all the way through, it better be a comfort pick, or at least a pocket pick at that.
Yeah, you'd be hoping for exactly that. But we'll see exactly what the series layout will actually look like coming into this one. Overall, I mean, I'm very interested with at least with some of the maps that we have seen from both of these squads. Some of them played, extremely tight, others a complete blowout. So we'll see how that kind of ends up coming together here for us overall. But either way, I think teams are actually still doing vetoes. So I guess that means that we can't pull up the series layout for you guys. We don't have a look in on the maps, and that would explain why the graphic has not come up for us. So I think that means that we will send it to a break. We'll allow the players to kind of figure out what they're doing and what maps we'll play on, and we'll be back, and hopefully back with that map number 1. Don't go too far. Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome back. I got good news for you guys. It looks like the vetoes have now been completed. We have maps. We are ready to go for our second match. Let's go, Andy. I'm hyped up.
I'm excited, man.
Yes.
I really want to see what this Texas A&M roster is able to deliver, right? I mean, you're going up against a number 9 team. Obviously, it would be an upset for as far as top 25 rankings are concerned, but Mercado Hardpoint is where we're starting off. We have a 2-night stay at the Greenberg Hotel. We have to go to the distance of Fortress, and in Ellis Silo is where things will finish off Hardpoint Search and Destroy respectfully. But I like this map number 1 overall. It kind of gives you a good feel for how both these two teams will stack up against each other, the pace that we know that New Mexico State are going to be bringing, and then Tamu on the opposite side if they're going to be able to keep it.
Yeah, I like that show. Mercado is always like it's like a good heat check map, I like to call it, because it's one of those maps that plays extremely fast. Another one that's obviously, very rotational heavy with a lot of the money hills that we have of the 7 in the rotation. And it's just a mixy map, you know what I mean? You can make a lot of really key plays. You can really spawn people out far away if you're manipulating the spawns correctly. And you have a lot of control just to be able to put your opponents into a lot of really difficult situations. And they have to make tough decisions, obviously, in those spots. So I always love a little Mercado to kind of get us into it. Also allows the subs to have a little fun, go a little rampant, and maybe find some sprees. So we'll see how that maybe all potentially ends up coming together here for us. But either way, man, like you said, this would be a huge one to try to pull off an upset versus number 9 seed here throughout our top 25, man. To be able to pull off a win, especially at 3-3, again, huge to be able to have that positive record going into the next week.
And not to mention, I mean, just the overall confidence that it would build, right? Especially if you are a Texas A&M Maroon. To be able to take a hard point, which you are 6-4, keep in mind, you, so you do have some reps. Obviously, Mercado should be in the wings. Those 7 hard points through a single set is a lot to handle. Let's put it that way for your SMGs and ARs to stay online. But if you can upset in a map number 1 affair versus this Aggies roster, specifically versus Phenom, I think that you're going to be in a much more comfortable spot going into Search and Destroy, because it kind of gives you that little bit of a wiggle room at that point, that you won map number 1, so at least you're might be guaranteed a map 4 if you do lose map number 2. Might be getting ahead of myself, but regardless of the matter, I just want to get into it, man. I want to see what this Texas A&M roster is able to deliver. I mean, obviously they are seniors when it comes down to their overall schooling, and at least 3 of the 4 of them, but what do they look like as far as Call of Duty is concerned? Seeing a few of these players come through CCL at least at one point or another. Didn't exactly have a great season last year for Texas A&M Maroon. Maybe this one might be the turning point for them.
We'll have to see, but it looks like we're ready to go. Hope you guys are ready to go as well. It's been a little bit of a wait to get into this one. We do apologize.
Oh, you had to say it. You had to say it. I blame Switchy, honestly. Those that don't know who Ryan Switchy is, that is our free cam observer. He does a fantastic job, but he absolutely just broke that game right there. I don't make the rules.
It's all on him. I'm sure we'll jump back into it soon. Either way, we'll be good. I'm ready to go. Players have been ready to go Well, I thought for a while, but you know, only kind of getting the maps in last second. Maybe they won't be too warmed up, right? Like maybe we come into this with a different approach. Like maybe someone's gonna be a little bit cold and have to kind of find some fire as we go throughout the map. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, I'm ready to get into it, Andy. Hopefully the players are too.
Switchy just added me in the Discord with the Walter White meme. It was just, you're gosh darn right.
Goddamn right.
I forget that they can hear me in real time. So it's
Absolutely.
Just, oh man, Austin, if you had to pick in between smooth or crunchy peanut butter, what's your pick and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Ah, man, because, like, I get different moods, right? Like, there's some moods I'm in, I'm like, you know what? Like, it's a crunchy peanut butter type of day, but there's other moods where you're like, kind of a smooth peanut butter today. You know, like, it's kind of tough. If I had to pick one, I think it's got to be crunchy. Can't go wrong, right?
So, if it's a PB&J sandwich, I like smooth peanut butter.
Okay.
I don't get, like, too much interference with my bread. But I like crunchy. I'm already in store for a 1v4, right? You know, the peanut butter, the jelly, 2 slices of bread. So, you know, I don't want that fifth player to come in. That's the trophy system, right? So, when it comes down to crunchy peanut butter, though, I actually have a really cool recipe that uses crunchy peanut butter that goes over top of like a snickerdoodle, and then you put like a Hershey Kiss on top of it too, so it adds like that extra like crunch.
Damn, that's
peanut butter and the Hershey Kiss in the center.
I like it. I might sound faded for this, but yeah, I don't know if I can say it. I'm gonna say it now. Like usually when I'm eating peanut butter, sometimes I'm eating an apple, dude. Like you just get like a knife, you get like the jar, just like peanut butter on the apple. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was.
How does that make you faded? That is.
I didn't know. I don't know anyone else that is like. I've never talked about it out loud too, so I was ready for like you to be like, what kind of Canadian stuff are you whipping out over there? I was ready for that conversation, so I just didn't know which way it was gonna go. You know.
So have you ever? You know, like the frozen bananas that you can make, where like you put like the chocolate over top of the banana and you freeze them. Add a layer of peanut butter before you put in the chocolate over top of it.
I like that. I like that. This is like turning into like a little cooking stream. I don't know what you guys in the chat. I mean, we're waiting for a game right now. For anyone's like, what are these kids talking about?
Yeah.
We're waiting for a game right now. All right, we've set up the match. We're ready to get into it. I want to know what you guys, are putting peanut butter on. Hopefully, it's nothing too strange. But what exactly are you looking to try to whip up in there? Listen, don't get no, Andy. Bring it back. Reel it back in, baby. Come on, reel it back in. All right, not that way. I just want to know their cooking combinations with peanut butter. All right. All right.
Oh my god. If anybody was wondering why we haven't casted together, no, just kidding.
Yeah, they heard about the sauce and all of everything we were going into last week. Like, we're gonna switch it up. Yeah. Like, we're gonna throw Andy in with Austin this time, see what happens. Let us off the rails again. It's all good. We're here for it. We're here for it, Andy. And we're loading into the map. Let's go.
Oh, we're actually loaded in. All right, I was there for a second.
Imagine.
Woo! So it's gonna be New Mexico State. Starting off on the favorite side, and they're, well, not only on the favorite side, they win every single gunfight. It opens up P1 to be able to get about 20 seconds before they even have to worry about boarding off the rotation over towards 2.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a scary opening. Antics, though. Good moment for him. He gets caught on the reload as Electric MC just challenges out, finds a double. It's a great start here for New Mexico State. 30 seconds off of P1, and they're still going strong, but finally a good moment ends up coming through and a chance maybe to try to contest this P2 rotation.
It's a big 1v1. Jolteon, he was still weak from the previous engagement. Mantic's going to be able to maintain this 3 spree. Going to have a lot of New Mexico State players working up his back alleyway. Reinforcements are here, by the way, and so long as Antix is still alive from top, what was that?
Later.
The man just sprouted wings. Jose was in and he was out.
Dude, that's setting records for dolphin dives, man. It's looking like Shotzi's dolphin dives. I don't even know. Crazy stuff happening here in Cantina. Xantix is on 4. Sneaking up behind another for number 5. 1 off of the streak now. As it's still time going the way of the Aggies. I mean, Antix, yeah, he's finding kills, but can he actually translate it into time, trying to take on everybody? And well, Antix will. 7 in a row come through for him, and it is now a chance to finally start seeing time go the way of Texas A&M.
You might have been sitting there thinking, like, why is Antix taking such a long time? That was a really good patience play. A veteran showcasing actually coming out from Antix, making sure that reinforcements came in over by Hedges. Gonna get gunned from behind, sure. That's 14 seconds you would have loved to have if you are Tamu, but regardless of the matter, it's that disciplined play that really does it for me. That said, you're still down by about 40 seconds, and the lead might start be growing a little bit more so, especially if you don't get Phenom out from top 10.
Yep, now Quiet needs to get a little bit loud here for us. 0-6 start, need to get involved. Phenom stunned up, trying to get a read on where the push is coming through, but how about that? Nice double up comes through inside. The subs will be able to clear out the point. Nantix will be able to move through for some long-range shots, keeping that spree going. 10-2 now for him, as it's a clean break here for Texas A&M.
Need to rally behind. Advantix is dropping 11-2 through 2 hard points so far. Need your SMGs to be able to follow up on these longer lines of sights that are being held. Blake's looking for at least a couple players coming through the cuts, but still that collapse that's coming through the big door as well, and great timing. Left Jolteon alive in a 1v odd situation. This should be scrap time completely conceded, but Jose wants it yet again.
Gonna hit it. Oh, trying to get a read on the push. Not read correctly. That's, again, big time. Little scrap time that's just starting to go the way of the Aggies here. And it's really giving them just a little bit of a lead. They're building off of it as well. Phenom, good transitional kill over to the new hill inside of Barber. First touch should come through here for New Mexico. But long-range shots coming through in the back alley, and a nice push over the top, but Phenom with the snap will shut the first one down. And now we'll see them just funnel through, but can they break in?
Oh, Electric MC just puts 2 nails in the coffin, and Jose is still watching that mid lane. Here's the footsteps come through from lockers. Easy reads coming through here on P4. Still need to keep somebody on the time here. New Mexico State, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but even more so than this, it becomes so much more alarming if you are New Mexico State. You are giving up a lot just to make sure this P7 push doesn't come through. I thought Blake might have been able to find one, but it's not going to be the case at all. And this is where Mercado Las Almas hardpoint starts to run away from you. If you cannot find these breaks, New Mexico State have built themselves up what is about to be an 80-plus point lead. You don't get a full 60 here on P5. It might just be GG's.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. The breaks really are everything. When you're going from money hill to money hill, you need to be able to try to contest some of that time, and the big difference here is the Aggies have been able to contest some of that scrap time in the last couple hills. Now, looking at about a 100-point lead, need to see a response. First touch, of course, will be here for Texas A&M, but now we need to see a hold. So far, so good for Antix. He's still absolutely fried. He's 15-7. Just need to see more participation for the rest of his team. We can certainly see maybe a comeback come through here for them, but the streak's going to be called. Phenom wants to break it open.
Gonna go through the window, but the trip system's gonna keep everybody alive inside of the hardpoint itself. And Antix is still playing inside of the courtyard itself. Good damage, but not a whole lot of follow-up. And if you ask me, I mean, if you get possession of P5 the way that Tamu did, Antix is still sitting on a cruise missile. Why not get inside top 10 in a comfortable position and call it in? Try to convey where the rest of these players are located at. Yeah, Tamu was able to walk away with the majority of that time over by P5, but New Mexico have double the amount of points. They have that leader's advantage, so they can afford to be able to play and trade out 20s for 30s, 30s for 30s here and there. They just need to set up for a break over by P6 now.
They have to have it here. Kills, good on rotation. Quiet getting a little bit more involved as he finds a couple kills, but still need to see a lot more from him, and it's just a full-on bunker up inside the point. Not sure how many trophy systems are down through the back alley here, but Antix is certainly under pressure. He'll now have one up. Try to help with the lethals and tacticals, but it won't even matter. The kills are looking clean. In Texas A&M, they are looking for a break. Just need to find the 2 more remaining players, but Blake will hold strong for the first, almost the second. Electric MC now, one more 1v1.
You're not in a position to try to go for that trade immediately. He is getting tags outside, but he's probably not expecting there's going to be 2 players. Even stuns, bounce nade as well. Oh, man, I mean, if this guy breathed for just a second, Electric MC finds 2. It's a late break at that, but again, if you are New Mexico State, you can afford to do this. The biggest problem when it comes to Mercado Las Almas is stringing together P6 and P7. These are the 2 hills you can do it best. You do have those close back courtyard spawns if you are Tamu, so there will be here first, but they're not in a position to really try to zone a lot of these players away. Xigura trying to rectify that now.
Yeah, gonna try to do it. Hero maybe could put together a couple of kills. Gonna get caught in the reload there. Jose gonna get the best of him because of it. And now Antix might need another big moment for him. Not gonna happen. Looking like a solid break as everyone starts to collapse in from behind, but spawns are actually still decently close for some of the members to get back here and try to contest and defend, but not gonna matter. Now the push will come through, and the Aggies are right back in looking for that 200-point mark.
I mean, New Mexico State, if you are looking at the kill feed, Antix finds that 1 kill towards back alley, so all of your focus for New Mexico State shifts over towards that back half wall positioning, but Antix plays his life so wonderfully that reinforcements come through. over by that inside. Late break and a battle over some scrap time, but every single second is a big second for TAMU. It is 127 to 201. New Mexico State going in towards the second set of hard points have the lay of the land, if you ask me. Only need 49 seconds to close out map 1.
Up, but we'll see if they can still get it done. Antics has been really the only reason we're seeing this game as close as it is right now with that 22-12 scoreline. Not going to get a read from behind. Quiet's a little bit slow to react, and that means that it's going to allow Phenom just to move in for free, as you're just not getting any challenges. Everyone just waiting patiently. There's the challenge for Blake. He'll find one, and now maybe just try to fly right to Cantina. See if you can try to control this side of the map. Set yourself up for P2.
Jen's going to come through. He has suppressing fire actually inside a tunnel, and I think that Electric MC probably saw this play actually going down, but he can't stay alive. So the Dead Silence push through the tunnel is going to work out favorably, but where one problem exists, another one sprouts up. Just because you got the rotation and you full force your way inside P2 doesn't mean you can allow New Mexico State to soak up this time over by P1. They are inching their way closer towards the game time that they need to close out map 1.
Oh, look at the double challenge. It's just like these little moments right here that you're seeing from them. Antics is there to clean up too, but you're seeing the teamwork and the double chows and the coordination at least there. Now a lot of it falls on Electric MC to try to create some space and allow his teammates some kind of a free route into the point. The nades are just going to absolutely smoke him up top. That's going to stop his play, at least for the time being, but you're starting to get some more members here now from New Mexico. Phenom looking for some key kills through the outside. We'll be able to find one. Electric MC has now found 2. The break could come through, but you still got defenders inside the point. Antics the last one up, and Phenom finds his head. Will break it open as Jose now flies through.
No control. You're not fully stabilized until Electric MC off the respawn works his way back in. There's still enough time to at least get closer towards 250, but you can't close it out here for New Mexico State. So the rotation needs to be called for. The biggest consideration for TAMU is that you just don't want all this time to go over, but you don't really have a choice. And the knife does not get put away by Gero. We've all been there. Jose gets the turn. He smokes him. The rotation has been lost. Now Gero needs to have a big moment here. 1v2 if he wants to try to keep his team in it.
Yeah, has to fly, has to go. Not going to happen. That kill not coming in certainly is the dagger. My goodness. Gonna sting a bit. Still a lot had to be done to lock down a full tin hill, but at least you had a chance. That 1v1 really was everything. And it doesn't come through. Tough scenes.
We've all been there.
We have.
We've been there. You go on that massive flank and well, you try to pull out the gunny and your knife says, nope, I'm going for a stabbies. That is just... Woo, man, you really hate to see it. But I mean, again, like, even if that 1v1 comes through, like, we saw it continuously through the latter half of the first set of hard points. Even if TAMU gets in first, Mexico State, I want to say, they have like a 60, 75% break percentage. That is not real mathematics. That is just me guessing, because that's how many times they broke the initial setup for Texas A&M. It always felt like, again, that when they were in possession of the time, the initial setup, if you will, they were losing they were lacking maybe like 1 or 2 players. And they couldn't push forward. They couldn't deal with where some of these players for New Mexico State were coming from continuously. And when you can't do that, you're forced to curl up inside the hard point and battle inside of the hill itself. Mexico State reading that quite wonderfully continuously, just throughout those double chows that you were talking about there towards the end. They just absolutely ran away with it soon after. The slaying was just at an all-time high. Antics, I mean, you'll see it on the scoreline and through all these highlights. The guy was popping off. But as far as team cohesion is concerned, everybody from New Mexico State definitely put in their fair share of work to get this map 1 done.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was a collective effort, and I mean, that's what we always call for, especially when it comes down to these respawns. And I mean, the slow start, I think, from Quiet really did hurt them. Could have been a much different game if he doesn't start, 0-6. Could have been a different look. It looks like he was running an AR for the majority of the map, so not having that second AR out, really trying to put down some presence. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting, and I think you could feel that, especially on some of the setups, because for the most part, it kind of felt like New Mexico, and that was the moment right there, right? That was the 1v1 moment that maybe there could have been something here for Texas A&M to at least get set up. You did mention the fact that they were being broken quite a bit, but maybe there was a chance. That one really kind of seals the deal as we got to the end.
27 in 17 with 3,300 damage. Austin, he not only led the lobby, but he lost by almost 100 points. What's going on over here?
10 objective kills.
Gotta talk about
with
this.
an AR.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man.
He was a trophy system player. Like the collegiate Clayster over here. Like, I don't know. It's just, again, you know, we don't want to harp on it too much. I'm just happy that Tamu is fielding a roster here in College COD. These are collegiate athletes, but it becomes a little bit more of a frustration than it is anything. If you are an AR player and your SMGs are not following up with it. I mean, you look on the opposite side, Phenom, we saw him pop off in a massive way. He went on that 11 spree, 22 of 26 non-traded kills, 3,100 damage, almost 32, just 1 damage away. Come on. And then Electric MC was just right there, just picking things up. 20 and 16 of the 16 total of assists in between Oze and Phenom. Electric MC was always right there. He didn't even drop 2,000 damage. He was just collecting on the damage that was being laid down from his ARs.
Sure was. Woo! All right. Map number 1. Locked up here. Aggies looking good. 250 to 170. Now we go into Hotel. Search and destroy will be a double dose of it. Could very well end on it, too, with at least my history through CCL. I've only seen 3-0 so far during the regular season, so I want to see at least a game 4 here. Give me something coming into this map number 2. I mean, when we talk about teams that are usually this dominant in Respawn, it just feels like we default back to the same point that we were kind of just talking about in the previous series, Andy, where it's once again this SED that you really need to find a response with to try to tie things up going into that map number 3.
I'm like frantically going back through my notes. I've seen one map 4. One map 4 out of the... no, SIU and Concordia also went to a map 4. Yeah, sorry to stray away. Again, you got me thinking there, brother. But even more so than that, yeah, the S&D needs to be an immediate response. When you are thinking about Texas A&M, the biggest issue with that, of course, is that the record count doesn't exactly suggest that it has been easy going for you. And I don't know specifically what they look like on Greenberg Hotel and what maps that they were able to take off of different teams. But, hey, clearly you got a search and destroy win when it came down facing off against Westcliff. We know Ak was on that team. Nothing to scoff at, surely. But, again, there's just not a whole lot of stats to go off of. All I can tell you is that you simply got to have it here. Because if you do lose this control, or the search and destroy, excuse me, then that control becomes all the more treacherous in the rest of the series at that. To reverse sweep the number 9 team is a very tall order.
Let's see what happens. Map number 2. See if Texas A&M Maroon trying to give us a little tied series going into the swing map. So far, stuns and nades, everything coming out. Gyra, good for their first blood. That should really set up the defense. How about it? Gyra actually finds 2. Able to peek out, take the player right off of the bomb, and now you're going to be pretty hard-pressed here as Phenom and Jolteon to try to clutch up this 2v4.
You see Blaze positioning on the map. He doesn't have to move. He's essentially stacking on the A zone by himself, just making sure that nobody pushes through the restaurant side. Quiet is just watching that mid lane. I like this call coming through from Phenom, joining his team. They both have to retake here through the mid lane. It's really only one player that's watching it, but they all have to consider what's going on top and bottom bed as well.
Feels like you're going to have to fry somebody. Phenom says, no problem. I got you. Still, problem of the clock now. Oh, quiet. Takes some shots and overextends and is punished from it. Not like this. 2v4 into a 2v2. Can't find the player off the bomb, and the reach out comes through. Phenom's feeling it. Jolteon to the back. 1v1 versus Blake. Blake will take it. Long range shots do not finish him off. Phenom gets the reset, has the dead silence, and now needs to clutch up a 1v2.
Oh, he just checks the bomb as well. You got to cross here if you are both Blake and Antix. Antix loses his life. Some gunshots come through. So Phenom has time. He knows he has time just to be able to play the clock. The door busts open. Blake hops off the defuse. We're running out of time. And Blake needs to run up these stairs for the challenge, but Phenom sees it. Blake might be able to get the gunfight. Does he get there in time? He needs 7.5 seconds. I think he's just short of it. It's going to be close. It's going to be real close. I don't know if he has it, Austin.
Oh! That's certainly as close as it gets. I'm wondering if the dolphin dive, if it doesn't come through and delay the animation to go from like prone to standing back up, like if he actually gets it. Like, it's tough call. I don't know if it actually saves you that second because of the animation.
I think it might have, but it wouldn't have looked as cool.
It would not have looked as cool. I agree with you there. It definitely wouldn't have been as sick, but it might have been a round win, you know? Might have been a round win.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Guess we are playing Search and Destroy. Not for just style points. My bad, that's on me.
It was also a 2v4, Andy.
That was a 2v4, yeah. It's so much time exhausted. You just can't give these guys isolated 1v1s. It's a cardinal rule of Search and Destroy. Love this initial rip for Texas A&M. They're getting a lot of restaurant control, and they're looking for this pick.
Doesn't see him, but neither player sees each other until I think the noise is made. Electric MC taken down for first blood. Kyra's been good for yet another first blood. And that's going to create the man advantage. This time, Texas want to try to hold on to it as they just back all the way up. Watch over mid-map. And will kind of concede this B site, but luckily for them, the push kind of coming over to A. Blake will be able to drop this down, likely freely.
Back-to-back first bloods, but again, another isolated 1v1. You lose antics. Jolteon's still playing this top lights position. You feel like this push mostly needs to come through the middle of the map. You have 2 ARs. What does Phenom have? Is this a 3R retake? This is going to be real tough if it is. Oh.
Well, a lot of flexibility. Quiet. Trying to make sure his butt doesn't stick out too far around the corner. We'll end up dropping either way. Blake is red and will be taken down. Jolteon not going to miss. All down to 1. Gyra is red. Retake is solid.
3 ARs. What? That's tough. That's really, really tough. But I mean, that dissection of a retake is absolutely absurd. We had a 2v4. That was a 3v4. Gyra's going to be very frustrated. That's back-to-back first bloods. That does not garner a round win. But it's just finding the information, whether it's via audio cues or via just seeing the player just trying to stay alive on the backside of the display case. They're on P4. Team shots are something you can absolutely sing about when it comes down to New Mexico State. 4-1 for Phenom, 3-1 for Jolteon. They're working off of a tandem duo, it feels like, in the search and destroy so far.
Texas A&M has got to start closing on some rounds, especially with these numbers. Gyra's gifted them back-to-back first bloods and even did one better in the first round with a 2-piece. That's going to be a nice kill on Quiet. Challenge is wide in the plat. Electric now gets to push all the way up. And we'll see if Gyra can try to work for a kill. He's not going to be able to take the player off the bomb. Trophy system will keep him safe. 4v3 now as it'll drop into the 3v3. Antics gets 1.
You still have the player inside of the largest you got to worry about. Phenom finds 2. You dropped out of your Electric MC. Good heavens. What's going on here? In Texas A&M, if you're sniping over by top luggage, there should have been a player in a position to deal with that player over by D2. They're just... I'm losing my mind over here, but it's just tough when you do lose your sniper because then all of the focus comes through the middle of the map. And this is the same thing that we saw from New Mexico State in the Mercado hardpoint. They find that first blood across any sort of objective, whether it was an opening hardpoint or even here in the search and destroy. They do not let you breathe and just run you down when they get the information.
Well, Texas A&M, a lot of good looks so far, especially round 1, round 2. Like I said, just have not been able to close it, and now it feels like it's slowly starting to crumble in around them. Have to find a response, have to get on the board. Blake will be able to get across and try to threaten some of this top control. He'll fly right through. Great first blood. But again, you see the trade come through on the other side of the map. They'll take out Gyra, and Electric MC is flying right into a free kill. That's the first. Trying to get a read maybe on the second. It's Quiet. He's now pinned between 2 players.
He doesn't have to do anything now. Found that pick. He knows that bomb is dropped. Jose is starting to get a little more proactive just to clear away luggage. You don't know where both Quiet and Blake are located at. You probably assume that Blake is still up top around somewhere. That's where he did find that first blood. He's got a double weapon setup. And now Quiet finally bounces out from the lobby side. Over by check-in. He will force a 2v2. Time is running out, though.
Bit of a split right now for the defenders. Blake's got a read. He swaps to the Vaznev, though. And the trade doesn't come through. Quiet maybe could have went for a pre-fire. Decides not to. And you can just feel it. He can feel it right now. Against the clock. Has to fly one of the players at least. Gives up the angle at the wrong time. Nothing is going the way of Texas A&M right now as they are now down 4-0.
It's a flank that comes through from Electric MC, right? I mean, if you are going to watch the flank and that one player that's watching the flank is laying prone inside a statue, it becomes a little bit more of a head scratcher, right? Rather than just having a player maybe inside a spa over by pillars to watch that long flank that comes through. Electric MC wasn't even looked at until he took his second gunfight. That's how unnoticed he went throughout the entirety of that round. That silence play to deal with the bomb carrier itself, just forcing out the 2v2 as far as a retake for the bomb site to extend the round is just so unfortunate. Phenom 7-1, by the way. He's on 5-3. That's where we're starting off on board with him. He's got an AR in hand, looking for that 6 kill. Could be a cruise missile. Actually, it looks like he's running score streak, so I don't even know if that 6 kill will do it.
Hello. Nice little off angle. Another first blood. Another first blood. I'll say it again just in case you didn't hear me. Can they capitalize? Can they close out? 3v4. Trying to still make some waves inside of the kitchen. Jose going to throw a stun and nade in there. Keep them interested. Try to take a chow maybe over the top. Thinking about it, but not committing to it. Down to about 50 seconds. You don't have to commit to B, but you've drawn just about every single defender over here.
Jose is more indecisive about taking that chow than I am on what I want to wear on the day. That was strange. Uses all of his utility. Still 3v4. But it's like you said, he pulled so many defenders over towards this kitchen site. The rotation has to be considered. They're leaving Phenom behind. Pop's dead silence as well, looking to make a play potentially. You feel like, especially with the game clock right now, Austin, you're committed to A at this point.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Have to drop it. Phenom looking for kill number 6. Does get it, but not the streak. Needs number 7, and Blake will shut him down. But the bomb gets planted. And that man advantage we talked about has now dropped us into a 2 versus 2. Bedroom control here. And Gyra's going to have to play retake it. He's got a read on it. Good shots come through. Turns it into a 1v2. Now just got to read where Jolteon is.
He's bottom luggage. It's planted for him as well. That wallbang spot is a big one. Jolteon doesn't have that silence, so this is it right here. Wallbang spots are going to come through. The reposition potentially. You got to clear this out, though. If you are Blake, stun comes through. It pegs. It connects. Damage is good on the Blake. He can just keep throwing shoulders all day. Gyra has to chase him down, and Jolteon, he is out of there. Dive right into his face. Why not? It does not matter. It doesn't do damage when you forehead your opponent. New Mexico State, they get first blooded again, but still win the round.
Is there like a hex or like some kind of curse that was placed on Texas A&M that I'm just not aware about? It's a plot armor. God damn it.
Don't get first blood.
Get 2-piece this round. That's the round you'll win. Man, it's just so tough to see it. I think 3 at least out of the 5 rounds, there's been a first blood, if not even an immediate second from Gyro, Gyro, excuse me, after that round number 1.
I mean, 4 and 5. It feels like all 4 of those kills are first bloods. It's just the lack of capitalizing that is coming through from Texas A&M off of those first bloods. We have 7 and 2, 8 and 2 for Phenom and Jolteon, respectfully. They're just so patient and yet so aggressive at the same time. Even Electric MC, what a read on a Gyra. He's been the first blood king. This time Electric MC finds it. Maybe it's the reverse plot armor. 3v4 for Texas A&M.
Yeah, surely this is the round. Won't be a 6-0 sweep now. Script would not allow it, but maybe New Mexico doesn't care about the script. We'll see. Bomb is certainly hovering over towards A. Feels like that's where they're going to go. Stun is good to maybe follow up with an aggressive play, but Blake doesn't pedal to the metal just yet. Does get himself over to the bomb. Clears out some of the angles, but Jolteon. Oh boy, there's one. Oh boy, is it a second? Doesn't finish it off just yet, and while it's only down to 1, Antics had an insane map 1. Have to pull off a 1v4 here now to stay alive.
Had an insane map 1, like you said. Go ahead and find all 3 players. Not going to be the case at all. New Mexico State, 6-0 clean sweep in the Greenberg Hotel Search and Destroy. And again, you go back through a lot of those rounds, 2v4s, 3v4s.
Yeah.
Even in this round, when they even had first blood in a 4v3, they never drop an ounce of teamwork. They always throw shoulders, and they always communicate where these players are located at for the secondary player to be able to get the kill. These guys are pristine at playing their lives in Search and Destroy. I don't know what else you want me to say. I mean, like, with so many rounds that Gyra found first blood, and still New Mexico State won the round, where they were just playing for the information. They find said information, and they just eviscerate these players in their 1v1 gunfights, or even in 2v1 gunfights. It's just things you can't let happen.
No, definitely not. And I feel like sometimes, you can almost see where it starts to go like the opposite direction and it goes horribly wrong. It's the round 1 right away, right? It's a 2v4. Like the round 1 that you're supposed to close out, a situation where even the bomb has to be planted, limited on time, and they still managed to get that done. It feels like, everything was playing against them. They win that round, and everything from there just goes downhill, despite the first blood still looking solid and still coming through round after round, man. I just feel like, that was frustrating to watch because it looked like there were so many rounds that should have went the other way. I can only imagine what it feels like for those guys right now. It's got to be so frustrating to experience and to know that, all right, we did not get 6-0. Like, there was a lot of those rounds that should have went our way. We just could not close them.
Oh, Things for Texas A&M are starting to look like the coat of the collie that represents them, and that's rough. I mean, like, there's just so much that goes wrong. I don't know, man. Like, if he doesn't dive, does he get there in time? I'm still stuck up on this.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Like, I don't even know. If it's so tough. Like, it's what? I mean, maybe.
Because when the dive hits the ground, he's at 7.8 seconds. It takes 7.5 seconds to defuse the bomb in Modern Warfare 2. I don't know. I don't even know how you would even test that. I feel like it would have been like maybe 7.6. Maybe. I just don't think he gets there in time. It's just the way that New Mexico State, even when it feels like that the round is surely lost, they just always fall back on these fundamentals. And I talked about this with Brody when we casted week 1, is that when you look at the group stage, regardless of what division you're in, the teams at the very top, when they do go up against other top 25 teams, become so much more blatant just by the other team's ability to fall back on core fundamentals. New Mexico State were reading. They were adapting to tendencies that was Texas A&M through search and destroy. Same could be said about the hard point, the rotations, the double chows, triple chows, the retakes, the breaks. Everything is being exemplified to such a high degree from this New Mexico State roster.
Well, all good news, at least on one side. 9-2 here for Phenom. Jolteon 8-2. A lot of like really big clutches from him as well throughout that map. Almost every single one of his kills goes non-traded. That pretty much tells you the story right there. My goodness. Tough one to say the least. Hate to harp on Quiet, but back-to-back really tough losses here for him. Hasn't really been able to get too involved. Double negative in the map 1. Just one single kill to come away with in the map number 2. It just hasn't gone their way, and you gotta hope, sooner or later it will. But listen, there's only one more map to try to switch it up, try to get this win and pull off yet another reverse sweep. I feel like every time I come on CCL and cast during the regular season, it's reverse sweep going to the map 3. We gotta have it, Andy. Same story for me.
Come on, Austin. Ain't your first season here in college. Just
well,
the way the news goes sometimes. But I mean, even more so. I feel like that we're going to see a lot of this. I got to respect it, especially for the top 25 committee, which full disclosure, I am not a part of. I think that the top 8 teams might be a little bit more competitive, but when you look at like top 20 to top 9, there's still like that discrepancy, right? Even take challengers, for example, right? You could be a top 16 team, but if you face a top 4 team, I mean, you might just get smoked. Like it is that slight discrepancy, albeit in the top 20 rankings. It's just one of those things that you almost have to fully expect and somehow respect. At least Texas A&M, they were able to showcase at least some bite back, or dog puns, at least in map number 1, but the search and destroy was certainly lacking. It's just these things that you need to build off of because, again, the regular season is starting to tick all the way down.
Well, getting grim. Have to, like I said, pull off the reverse sweep, try to come alive here in the control. We'll see if they can do it. For now, we'll send things away to a short break. When we come back, we'll see if that map number 3 will go the way of Texas A&M. Don't go too far. Hello, friends, and welcome back. 2-0 up. It has been a one-sided affair, to say the least. 6-0 victory after the map number 2, and now it is time to try to put together a map number 3 win here. Texas A&M Maroon would have to pull off 3, but let's just start with getting 1. See if we can see a map 4, Andy.
You're really hoping for it, aren't you?
I am hoping for it. You know what I mean? I'll be a biased caster. I'll say it live. I am absolutely biased here for Texas A&M to at least get 1, so I get to experience my first map 4.
What's the CAD to hopium leader ratio going on up there? Because I don't know if it's gonna end up happening here, brother. Because I mean, you're going up against New Mexico State if you're Texas A&M. You already knew this. The problem is that you just got smoked in the hotel search and destroy, and now you go into what is technically New Mexico State Aggies' best game mode in control. They are really, really good at it. Let's just put it that way, comparatively to Texas A&M. And not to mention just one of the key factors when it comes down to control is finding those slays, baby. And you got to be able to represent that flow ever so wonderfully. Team cohesion needs to be there as well. These are things that were lacking when it came down to Texas A&M in that map number 1 loss.
For sure. And I mean, we almost kind of need another like big map from Antics again, right? Like he's already stepped up. Don't see maybe too much of it in the map 2, but the map number 1, top frags, minute in the time, 10 objective kills with the AR, with the trophy, like the list goes on. The man was having like an incredible map. It's just the rest of his teammates were really slow to start and to get there with him, and in some cases not all of them even did. I think you need another huge map out of Antics because Quiet hasn't exactly, been able to step up. He's just been living up to his name so far. He has been quiet on the day. He hasn't really put up some big numbers. I think he's sitting on a total of maybe like 10, 11 kills throughout those first 2 maps, right? So it's been tough. Need a big map from him. Need the ARs to really dictate the pacing on a map like Hotel.
Could have said it better, my friend. But it's also like if the ARs, like we were talking about from Antics on that first map, the SMGs also need to stay proactive. Looking for Gyra to beat maybe, well, that guy. Antics finds 2. How about a 3rd? Okay, why not? Hey, great opening rip there from Antics, who finds 3.
That's right. Ask and you shall receive, I guess. Nice little 3-piece. Antics kicking it off hot. Quiet also getting involved early. Nice kill through mid. Might set Gyra up for a potential retake on the point. Huge win right through connector. No way does he find the second over the top. Gyra is in. The nade will not finish him off. The man is schmoving. He's ready to go again.
Didn't even tag him. That song gets popped in. I can't get back out through the pantry, so Jose will find that trade. But it is a stray trade at that. Awesome. We are 47 seconds remaining, and it is a 3-for-11 split. Texas A&M have all the map control in the world.
This is looking great. Quiet's also off to a 4-0 start. A lot of players to deal with in front of him. First and second, no problem. Looking for number 3, but the double chow comes through. However, who's watching the pinch? Oh, Blake almost fumbles the play, but still at least gets 1, but Electric MC keeps it alive.
Sold out, 32 seconds. You are truly not, it is never chalked when it comes down to control, especially on Greenberg. I'm gonna try to go for this. I mean, Gyra just flies. He finds the first. He finds the second. I mean, you would stop the A-zone from being tacked over, but you're more or less just throwing lives away that probably wasn't totally required, albeit you still have a 10-life lead, so these exits will be quite punishing, you would feel like, especially with Antics being in the bedroom area of the map. So 60 seconds added on towards the board, but it's 60 more seconds of Texas A&M continue to slay out.
Yep. Certainly try to transition over now, but just with the 12 lives, have to be a little bit careful. Gifting too many of them for free. Antics, looking for the second. That would have been huge. Would have been the streak. Does end up getting stopped there on 5. But Blake, nice route for him. Phenom looking to try to read it. Rather, Jolteon is there. Now you have a chance to try to set something up on the point. Phenom's going to touch. Kills are coming through. Not looking good right now for Texas A&M.
It's not. Phenom looking for spot control. He's going to actually get behind enemy lines. There's one player coming behind him. It's going to be Quiet, who's having himself an hellacious map number 3, but it doesn't stop Phenom. Finds 2 more and towards the back. That may open up the middle of the map, but where are your teammates? Nowhere to be found because Gyra finds himself yet on another 3 spree. Death Silence is activated. He's looking to make more plays.
Gyra might have just saved the round right there with that 2-piece, and he is still finding kills in the back. And that should seal it. Just 2 lives here. Phenom and Electric MC might be able to find some kills, but it is very far-fetched to make anything happen from this position. Phenom will find 1. 15 seconds left. Final push about to come through. Electric would have to do it all, and he will be taken down. So, all things said, much better look, at least off the start. Texas A&M able to neutralize the first couple pushes and really stop any moves from being made there for New Mexico.
I mean, Quiet's 12-4. He is on pace to double the amount of kills in a single map than he did in the first 2. So, yeah, I think this is a much better look when it comes down to Tamu. Considering the slaying prowess, Antics opens up with the 3, finishes 7-3. Gyra's right there also making plays, and it's like you said, I mean, if that 2-piece doesn't come through off the Dead Silence push, bottom bedroom, you're probably looking at a very different outcome. Maybe Preston's over by that B-zone, but it's always about the opening breaks. 3 segments, minus 11 lives is in the bank now for New Mexico State. It's their opening break look at. I mean, Jose is going to get a lot of information. He's going to get completely overrun. At least we should be lucky if you are the Aggies of New Mexico State that at least he went 1-for-1.
Yeah, at least you're able to get that first. Electric MC trying to play a very similar role to what we saw there from Gyra. Working inside of Connector. Looking to just fly out for kills, and he is good for the first one. Teammate good for a second. As trades go back and forth, but still presence alive on the point. And I love that play. Gyra backtracks, just try to help and assist through that Connector play. That should lock in that second tick and might actually just be good for the zone.
This is where you have to be very, very careful if you are New Mexico State. Do you want to fly towards the zone, or do you just want to play for a couple exits? It seems that it's going to be the latter. Now, unless the former is still presentable for you, Quiet will take down Jose. And that kill was timely. Phenom taking out Quiet inside the zone. That means that that third segment won't be tacked all the way over. You're not necessarily in a position, if you are Phenom, to deplete it. Tamu are still looking for this A zone, and it's allowed a lot of control through the mid-map for New Mexico State.
That's right. Being blocked right now. Those backlog spawns from Jolteon off screen. So forcing everyone from Tamu to continuously spawn in kitchen. It's going to force their hand to go. And well, with that kill, it should mean they can move on to the point and likely find it. Phenom still getting some good damage in. You'll find some kills. My goodness. Snapping over the booths. Making it look easy. Nice little force free for him, but it is still the zone in the end that goes their way.
Oh, yeah. Get your snakes on, kid. Oh, look at the better Quiet who rips his head off. That's the best way to deal with the snake, I suppose. Not that I've battled many snakes in my day, Austin. 21 versus 15. And now if you're New Mexico State, again, you could just really play off this positioning. I mean, you got player number 2, that's Jose inside of couches. He might get taken down by Blake, surely, but you still have bedroom and top valet control.
Like this. Good control in the back. As long as Jolteon is alive, you are not going to have that close spawn. Have to deal with them, have to have it. Blake and Quiet would have to get some team shots in over the top, but Jolteon is just able to sit back here, and he's not really worrying about a whole lot. Another freebie picked up. One off of the streak. A play is red through the other side of the map, and my goodness, Phenom is here alongside Jose. No one's even allowed to breathe right now. It feels like for the last minute, Texas A&M has just been spawning inside a kitchen over and over again.
Yeah, because again, I mean, Jolteon has not moved. He's on a 5 spree. You're only going to be able to spawn inside a kitchen. Sets up Phenom maybe to play for a couple exits before you get inside of Jules, but 18 plays up against 5. You feel like if you are Tamu, this is your last hurrah. And it's going to come through a full-on flank around the back. Jolteon still looking for that kill number 6, and, well, he might not even be able to find it because everybody just drops like flies. Just where you truly did feel like that Tamu had an emphatic defense, Mexico State did it even better. They allowed those 3 seconds to come all the way through. Sure, that's fine. It's whatever. But they won it by, what was that, 18 lives?
Yeah, 18 lives.
What the heck?
18. I know, that sounds really strange to say out loud, doesn't it? And
Shot
they still
hotel.
came out with 18 lives, so not too bad. It's like, yeah, that's... I mean, I was thinking round number 1 was, like, looking good for as far as the kills were considered in case it were to go to, like, some kind of a round 5, right? But blown out of the water and done better here from New Mexico. As we'll switch it up, we'll see if their breakoff is going to be a little bit cleaner off the initiation. Last time, it took them a while to actually get some ticks done in and around A. Jose looking for stuns, trying to get some information. They will be able to find all the kills cleanly, and that should allow them an easy stack here on the point, or just keep one player on it and let everyone else go rogue.
Yeah, I don't need throwables to get information, but you can just do it the hard way. Nice Semtex coming through from Electric MC, and I mean, immediately off of that first blood that came through over by the A zone, just look how quick New Mexico State are to not relent at all. They just continue to press up all the way in, essentially over by P2 through the middle of the map. It's just Phenom on the A zone. The Aggies of New Mexico State are still trying to find a lot more kills. They want this to be as comfortable as possible. And Jolteon still going on a tangent. 12 and 8 will finally be traded. The A zone's going to be tacked over, surely.
Oh, that's a tough gunfight. Kyra able to work in for another one. 3 in a row for him. He has just been one of those great entry subs that you just love to have, especially leading the charge. He does a good job of finding some more kills and more eliminations, but still, the zone goes over. 2 minutes to work with. Blake is now pushing all the way through in the back to try to get a read on one of the members that might have gotten through. Will he be able to get here in time? The answer is yes. He does come behind Jose. Does he get a read on the second, who's also pushing right through lobby? I mean, you have players in bedroom, but you got to worry about the players from behind. Jolteon finds Blake, and now you got to be worried about this point.
Well, the old not move and lay prone and wait for you to come up the staircase. E-zone is going to be stepped on, but it's always the top bedroom, top luggage, top lights, whatever you want to call it. Get an AR in this position, and you don't deal with him as an offensive team. It becomes so much more of a nuisance just to try to get yourself over towards the B zone. So off the respawn will at least be a 1-for-1 trade. The player to watch out for is Jose. He is on the flank through the middle of the map. You have players that are back here for Tamu that's watching it.
And 13 to work with. Phenom working through some tough gunfights at the moment. Jose, I mean, he just throws on the jets and flies. Once again, putting pressure on the backline here, not allowing them to get set up for free, but Antics on the other side of the map, still playing his life quite well. Have to deal with him before he can really get on the zone confidently, and Blake might also be able to get in, but Antics drops. Blake now needs to find a successful play, and Quiet's going to call in the streak. Blake does finish off the remaining kills, so the The streak doesn't find anything, but still, at least able to get them off the zone for now.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't even think they had a trophy system to keep themselves safe, so they all just kind of scatter like ants. And Tamu just pick them off. 13 plays up against 13. Big chow for Phenom around the back of the display case. Can't even pick up a single kill. 12 plays up against 13. 35 seconds remaining, and we are just throwing randomness and seeing what sticks if you are New Mexico State at this point, and nothing is working. So Electric MC looking to play her out.
Timing here. Oh, could be interesting. Gonna say, Quiet doesn't watch that back push. Maybe there's an angle to get in from behind, but instead, it's all about the regroup right through mid. Try to surge through to the point. Try to break down the defense, but the defense is not budging. 3 clean kills come through. And maybe just that single tick onto B is where we're going to end. Phenom, don't think he's going to have a chance to be able to get to the zone in time. Try to fly out. Kill will come through, but no touch will come on in.
And that one extra segment, I mean, that could be the difference maker, right? If this is your first look at it as far as competitive Call of Duty is concerned here in Modern Warfare 2, for a round 5 defense, what garners you to have that as a team is to have more segments of progression. If it stays tied up, this is why we're talking about the amount of lives that are left over at the end of it. If segments are tied, it then goes to kills, so everything needs to be looked at. In all defensive affairs so far through Greenberg Hotel Control, very random occurrence for us, Austin, but nonetheless, you hold on if you are Tamu, and it's really just antics, just being annoying. Top luggage. They never dealt with them in that one push that they finally did. It was just trades that came through for Tamu. Again, the opening break was much better for New Mexico State in their previous offense. Need to have an equal of a defensive opening break here.
They need it. It's a double hit right through double arches. Gyra actually backtracks just to make sure they don't funnel all through the same way. Give someone a 2-piece, and that's going to allow them a lot of freedom and a lot of control. And Gyra, oh my, 2 more. Does he get a read on the third? AR picked up, trying to bob and weave and finesse his life, making himself such a hard kill. He gets a read on the last 2 remaining players as well. So you'd think this should be the zone, but there will still be one more contest. Jolteon through the back, trying to find the wall bangs. Wall bangs will not come on through. 3 players now drop. This actually could be a little dangerous if they move quick and start to find themselves across the map.
I don't like that coming through, especially for Jolteon. Again, you have only found a single kill in this round. 29 plays up against 22, and you're throwing lives over towards a dead zone. Now it's worst case scenario. It is turning further disastrous. You got players that are around the bar side, and the wallbang shots are phenomenal to take down Phenom. Quiet is just having himself a game. Drops down, finds kill number 5 in a row, and the stack is here.
Oh, Quiet is now awake, but Jolteon through the back luggage alley, able to find 2. Trophy system now down to protect him. Quiet just runs at him, kind of gives away his position, so we'll see if they can try to recover from this. Still got a player in the back of the desk, but oh my goodness, Phenom reads it beautifully. He finds 2, he doubles up, and now he's alive up top on the plat.
All right, take a breath here if you are New Mexico State, because Phenom absolutely just popped off to make that play happen. You also had a player bottom luggage to be able to find at least all of those entries, but now Phenom on 4 in a row, working his way up towards a couple of streaks. No! Antics should have been able to win that gunfight. Luckily enough, Quiet is there for the trade. Blake finds a returning one as well. One player you have to be accounting for is where Electric MC is located at. You see Gyra on the map as well. He's trying to find where he's located at, but doesn't find him in time. Down to a minute. Just an 8 life difference between these 2 teams.
You gotta deal with Electric MC. He is the player you have to find. And if so, there will be a very good chance to try to get onto the point. And it looks like it's a trade actually off of screen. Don't know how it happens, but you've now eliminated the player in the back. So you just have to worry about all the AR set up out front. Nades and stuns all coming over the top. 40 seconds now left on the clock as well, with 12 lives, here for the Aggies. Have to try to play their lives, try to hold on as the push comes through. Gyra's in for 1, looking for the second. He will find it. Oze drops, and oh, no call-up comes through for Jolteon. He just runs to the point. Gyra for another. That's the final tick coming on through, and my goodness, Texas A&M. They extend the series as they grab the map number 3.
You sound like a kid on Christmas here, Austin. We get ourselves a map 4 in CCL. It is meant to be, as this guy, Gyra, just absolutely had himself a game. 31 and 28. That's a lot of engagements, man. Like, on a map like Hotel, where it always felt like that he was by himself. He always made the most of it. And it's like you talked about it, especially through that final round in round number 4, where he is just running around just endlessly. He's the entry sub. Not to mention how he's the follow-up sub. Not to mention how he's the guy that's playing on the zone sub. He is doing everything that he could possibly do to maintain presence on the map itself, because that is the difference maker for me. When you have a submachine gun player that is finding himself a lot of value on the map, and he has now a backup from not just one AR of Antix, but also the second of Quiet, is this the peak that is Texas A&M Maroon? Because I want more.
I want a lot more of this, man. This was just a completely different look at this squad coming into this game mode, and not an easy one to take off of this, New Mexico State squad either. One of their better game modes, to be sure. But my goodness, it just comes down to a couple of key plays. And as you mentioned, Gyra being just the lead of it. So many moments where he is the first one in. He is not scared to bait and switch. He's almost always going to get you one, it feels like. And as much as there were some key moments here from Phenom, he is just not going to be able to get the job done. Wow, what a turnaround. I mean, it just comes at such a weird time, and I think you hit on it correctly, Andy. It comes at that moment where you could see them all try to hit A at that last second, and it delayed the setup once they all went down cleanly and found none of those traits.
It's just, I've been commentating over Call of Duty for a long time. And when I first got into Call of Duty, some BO4, and it was with Control, was around. And talking to a lot of coaches over the years, and one thing that absolutely flabbergasts me is why you still hit control zones when it should be chalk. You're down by lives. It doesn't make any sense to me, Austin. I'm losing hair just thinking about it this moment of time, and it absolutely comes back to bite New Mexico State in the rear end. Things that you cannot allow to have happen. It's these split decisions that need to come all the way through. Gira having himself a whale of a performance. 31 and 28 obviously was not 954 damage, was probably somewhere closer to about 3,700 damage with the amount of presence that he was on the map. Just a lot of engagements overall. And you can also see Quiet. I mean, what a turnaround. He got more kills in the Hotel Map 3 than he did in the Mercado and Hotel Map 1 and 2 combined.
Yes. That says everything, right? And, I mean, rightly so, excuse me. I called out Quiet coming into this, and I said, listen, we need to see something from him. Like, we just haven't. He hasn't, plugged in the controller so far. Well, let me tell you, the man was cooking 20 to 25, non-traded. And on top of that, he also puts up 16, huge defensive kills, 9 objective kills. Like, he is very involved in a lot of these rounds, and you're seeing it play out. Much better look here, as you can see the baton kind of being handed over to the other AR, and will extend the series because of it. And that's exactly what we wanted to see, maybe exactly what I wanted to see, that's for sure. And we'll take a look at this series layout as I get my first map, number 4, and it's going to be a Fortress hardpoint, Andy.
Oh boy. Well, if there's a map mode combination where you could have a tandem working AR and SMG duo continue on with their antics, well, it would be Hotel. But also Fortress, because there's a lot of different instances where your SMG needs to be able to maintain a certain presence of mixiness as far as the arc control is concerned, depending on the rotation. Not to mention how AR should be watching that mid lane scoop continuously. Also the P2, E3, trophy systems galore. ARs are going to be bountiful when it comes down to Fortress Hardpoint. You're not short of money hills when it comes down to this hardpoint as a whole. Even P1 has its day when it comes down to being on the P2 side of the map. I've seen so many different teams, even here in the CCL, put teams in what felt like an Outbagger Fortress control spawn trap and walk away with full 60s off of P1. If it's anything that was looking like off of that Mercado Las Almas map number 1, 250 to 170, you saw there for the Aggies of New Mexico State University. Hey, maybe Tamu finally got the recipe. Maybe they got the cogwheels turning to be able to up the ante, get the slays required to keep up with antics, and maybe keep up with New Mexico State and push them at 5.
It's very possible. I think the map number 1, was a slow start. A lot of players still getting warm. I think that was pretty clear. Map number 2, as much as it was a 6-0, was probably the most winnable 6-0 I've ever casted in my entire life. And then they finally get it done in the map 3. So they've been playing extremely tight for the most part. I think the only thing they're going to have to really clean up coming into a hard point like this is just making sure that they're not playing too bunkered up with their setups, especially on a map like Hotel, where there are so many different angles and entries into a lot of these hard points, and it's difficult to cover every single angle if you're just all sitting corner to corner, right? You have to take away space. If you get kills, I want to see someone like Gyra just fly out there, man. Continue to do what you've been doing. I don't want to see this man sitting on the objective. I want to see this man roaming around. I feel like that would really, just be everything that would work for this squad if he can start to get a little bit more involved, just kind of finding exits and eliminations elsewhere and just making it more difficult to kind of set up the break, because that was the problem. It was the breaks. Every single time for New Mexico, it was too clean. They were happening too often, and you have to get a better look at what they're trying to do and how they're trying to approach it if you're going to have a better shot in this hard point, in my mind.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where things become a little bit tedious when it comes down to CCL as a whole. I feel like a lot of teams in CCL still kind of like succumb to what your actual role is. Like maybe Hero was going to be that guy through Mercado, but he was never spawned in at the right point in time to take that space. And then the other three players just kind of bunker up. In a game that is Modern Warfare 2, and this conversation really started to come around when we moved away from Modern Warfare 2019 back to 4v4 into Cold War, is that you have to be prepared, no matter what weapon you have, to pick up that slack of the role that is required. Even if you have an AR, you know as well as I do, Austin, that headshot multiplier goes crazy, man. It takes some space, deny them any sort of presence to be able to break on early. You have to be able to read in that moment that if it's a three-person setup and you don't have that one SMG player that is always just lurking around the outside of the hard point, another player needs to step up to the plate and then deny some space. I'm going to echo it. You brought up a really good point, brother, is that you cannot fall and succumb to the turtle nature that was the setups on Mercado, especially on hardpoint here on Fortress. You will get eaten alive because there's so many different points of interest to take one of these hard points by break.
Absolutely, and just so many mechanics on the other side too. Like we saw Phenom like working on the hotel booths, right? The way he was snapping. So you start to bunker up like that, and you know you worry about the stuns and nades all coming through, and someone like Phenom comes in and just starts picking you apart. It's going to allow for some easy breaks in hills that should not be easily broken. So that's the biggest thing. But they're here. Quiet's now awake. He is here to play after that map number 3. If you can get a similar performance at Advantic, just holding his own, I mean, this is very possible. We see a map number 5. It's just cleaning up some of these little just mistakes from the map number 1, and we could get ourselves a series. But I think everyone's just getting lobbied up, getting ready to jump into it. It's been a fun one, and it's been a fun one because our emotions went from like frustrated, they're almost there, they're doing it, to okay, now they're doing it, and hold on a second. Have they done it? Have a chance to send us to a map 5. It's like we're on this slow little progression. I'm here for it, Ed.
I think like the word composure has to come to mind as well, because like it's always like that underdog story, especially when you go down 0-2 and you lose the hotel search and destroy 0-6. And you're like, I mean, I don't know about you, Austin, but if I lost 0-6 and I already lost map 1, I got a reverse sweep, like I'm chalk, bro. Like I'm going to that control. I'm not calming. I'm turning my mic off. I might be playing with my toes. Like I'm just not there for it. But somehow Tamu, they stay alive, they play their game, and they are just putting themselves in the best position possible to make sure that those small micro errors like you were talking about in those first 2 maps were not there during the hotel control. Now you just got to find the consistency and just reverse sweep, Forehead.
Yeah, just now it's easy, right? You got the first one. Now surely it's meant to come.
Just win the other 2.
Win the other 2 and pull off the upset. I mean, it would be huge without a doubt. We talked about it already. You know, number 9 seed, I think, without a doubt. I'm certainly, you know, deserving of this position based off of what we've seen. But, you know, Texas A&M, you know, maybe making a conversation point that they deserve to be a little bit higher up, especially if they start to put together some more maps here. It'll be very interesting, man. It's a fun team with a lot of potential, and we've seen now multiple different members step up at different times. So we get all 4 at the same time. Oh boy, who knows what this team could be capable of. But again, just getting ready to load in. You think we're going to see a map 5, Andy? I think we're going to see a map 5. I'm feeling it.
I'm not.
Feeling it. I'm feeling
sorry. Dude, I'm gassed there with you, but my sauce has been out in the sun, and it has now just...
In the sun?
Yeah, no, it is evaporated. It's gone.
Don't do that. Don't leave the sauce up there, man. Put that in the fridge. What are you doing?
And not all sauce needs to be refrigerated after opening. I'm just saying.
Right,
Some hot sauces do taste better when you refrigerate them, but the other ones retain more spice when you leave them in the pantry at room temperature. But I don't know, man. I think like one map is decent enough for Texas A&M. But if you didn't showcase that slaying capabilities on a map like Mercado, like, I think that Gira needs to play out of his mind coming into this map number 4 to force map number 5. I'm not fully swayed over yet by this Texas A&M roster. I think that there were a lot more errors being exemplified for New Mexico State in that map number 3 than there were pleasurable moments for Texas A&M Maroon. They were putting themselves in the most awkward spots to be able to find these kills for New Mexico State. And Tamu, who, again, Gira is nobody to scoff at. He's a very good submachine gun player, like we were talking about. puts himself in a position to be able to walk away with these very easy 3 pieces. But I think if you fall back on the fundamentals that was New Mexico State as far as their break attempts are concerned, as far as their setups through the hard point, I think it might just end here, brother. I would love to be wrong. It's very rare that it happens, but I would love to be wrong. I mean, what you got, Tamu?
I don't know. I'm here for it. You know what I mean? They got a little cheerleader out of me until we get to the map 5. Then I go neutral. Then it's like, all right, we went the distance. Whoever wins here, you know, I'm neutral here. But for now, they got a fan. So let's see what happens. I'm here for it. I'm here for the story. Texas A&M Maroon still trying to pull off this upset. They did it in one respawn. Let's see if they can put together another.
Favorite side of the map, at least for the time being, for New Mexico State, and it's immediate arc control, actually. I mean, even Gira going 1-for-1 in that position allows his teammates to get set up inside P1, and Gira spawns all the way over by the stable side. I mean, you should have been aware of this if you are New Mexico State, and they absolutely are. They maintain arc presence, at least for the time being. You got player number 4, Phenom, just being annoying inside of the objective at this current moment of time. Shouldn't have asked for a better start.
Exactly what you want to see. Do not let anyone find any of the gaps. Don't let anyone flip out the spawns, but 15 seconds left. You still could spawn some of the players behind P3. Unfortunately, the kills just don't happen to come through here for Texas A&M. Gyra now up top. Dead Silence popped. We talked about him being one of the playmakers. He's got a chance to try to make a big play here now.
Oh, Dead Silence, top bow control, trying to get top rails. Jolteon will take him down. That's a big kill to find for yourself. Now you know a lot of this focus is all going to be coming across the dubstep side. Phenom was weak from that quiet engagement. So it's really only Antics that's pushed up. I mean, he's also got one player that's immediately looking for him. That's Electric MC. And it's just easy reads coming all the way through. First 20 seconds secured.
And this is the break. You know, the problems that we kind of talked about. It's just good reads coming through in the back, you know, getting an idea of where they're looking to attack from, what they're looking to do. This is also a very scary moment looking at the minimap right now. They don't have anyone at the back of P3, and they're still losing out on P2 time. Gyra will be able to kind of funnel himself in there to try to fight for it, but Quiet's going to have to get a read on Blake. I don't know if they're going to be able to, or rather Phenom in the back. He's got the key spot.
Even Antics. I mean, he thinks he's alone back here. Yeah, you know, it's been over here since yesterday. And Blake's already one shot. Like you were saying, you got to find where this guy's located at. You felt like if you're looking at this from Tamu's perspective, you had to fight for 20 seconds. But you had to play with a double-ditched effort to be able to win the rotation over towards P3 and win the rotation, or at least battle for the 20 seconds. Now you've allowed the Aggies of New Mexico State to get set up inside P3, and this is a money hill within its own self. The setup is a good one.
Oh, is it ever? Best hill, maybe even in Modern Warfare 2. So difficult to get back here. We've seen it, but how about that for a win? However, Gyra's teammates does not win any other battles. And now everything comes back to step 1. 30 seconds already gone over. Now you're having to worry about challenges way earlier than before as everyone starts to fly out onto the map, maybe even going for an early flip. It will be contained, but that full 60 will not be fully contained whatsoever. This is about 100 points now here for New Mexico State.
Gyra's positioning actually allowed Oze to spawn out. Are you going to be ready for this? Okay, yeah, you sure were. At least you cleared away all of the gallows. That was a good call coming through from Quiet. Now you can set yourself up around munitions. Top rails positioning is going to be a big one. The setup coming through for the Aggies in New Mexico State looks like they're going to try to go for top bow positioning. Gyra at least reads it, goes 1-for-1. Now you got to be able to read where the rest are.
Don't like the exits that they played off of the last hill to give them a lot of freedom to basically choose and pick how they want to break it. And guess what? The break is starting to come through. Electric MC, he's just roaming around the point. He gets a read on the second player down low challenges, but won't take the win. However, an easy tag up for Jolteon to now get involved as he's alive and well on the point. And it's looking like a similar situation to map 1 where the breaks are just too clean and coming in too fast.
Again, it's starting to run away from Tamu. 120 to 37, Austin, on Fortress Hardpoint. It's back-to-back money hills that, again, if you are Tamu, you were set up for. And you should have been able to set up for by P3, but it's these small micro errors that they keep succumbing to. Nice snap from Blake up top rails, but, I mean, we're battling for 8 seconds at this point. Now the rotation over towards P5. Yes, it's being held by Quiet. But these split spawns for New Mexico State, Tamu might not be ready for.
Have to try to get a read on it, and well, it's not looking good. They've now lost Antics. And everything else might start to collapse, but Quiet's going to go for a chow. Does finish off the first. Blake is also on 5, or see if he can maybe earn number 6. He's in a great spot. Top single. Shots come through. Doesn't finish off that one. Still trying to put the final bullets into Electric with the sub. Nade pushes them forward, and the streak will not be earned. Another tough moment here. Try to push through for Texas A&M as they're struggling to get on the time and keep it.
They are keeping it mixy. New Mexico State, I mean, nobody really getting a majority of time off of P5, and that benefits the leaders of this map number 4, and that is New Mexico State in a nutshell. So at the end of the first set, depending on how this first shot goes, Blake goes for the dolphin dive, gets stun locked himself. So going to be about a 155 to 52 scoreline, a 100-point deficit for Texas A&M Maroon to claw their way back from. And again, it sets himself up for a little bit of a spawn trap. Even Jolteon Spidey's sense was tingling. You got one player that spawned all the way towards the back of Quiet. That is going to keep the team inside the hill of New Mexico State honest for now, but you don't win any of the gunfights. Phenom finds himself on 3 in a row and inside the hill.
Stay alive. Yeah, I mean, everything depends on what Gyra does right here, I feel like. 178 to 52. P1 time still very much going over. Have to try to flip out the spawns. They do manage to get some of the spawns on this side of the map, but nobody wins any gunfights. Phenom's on 5. P1 time is still going their way, and they are starting to creep up on 200 points here, Randy.
Oh, my goodness. Someone trade this man. It might be just too late. I mean, Gyro is able to find at least a stray kill. Antics finds 2 over backed up steps, but you saw firsthand right there, if you are Texas A&M Maroon, they wanted the spawns for P2 rather than trying to hit through P1. They allowed New Mexico State to get, what was that, 50 seconds off of P1? Almost unheard of. Because Texas A&M wanted to go for the spawns and towards the back, they are reeling by 146 points, and they don't even get the initial setup at 2.
Oh, boy. Antics fighting, trying to get some kills, but the impactful kills, they have just not been there. It has been, once again, a slay fest here for New Mexico State as they want to try to end it on this point. They might do so. Moment does come through, but Phenom, oh man, you're thinking there's another key moment for him coming on up. He's able to find 2, and this is great time to fight for, but you can also just rotate and secure the win. So you have to now fight multiple different fronts, and it's just not looking great here for them as Antics will try to win the 1v1 in the back.
Phenom spawns stables, and he already finds the first towards top maps. Antics is trying to find this kill, gets the early damage. Nice headshot. Will take Phenom out from this positioning. They're not out of it yet, but again, pretty damn close. And Phenom off the respawn calls in the cruise missile. This is information. You got players inside top maps. He gets at least the damage on the trophy system, but the splash damage takes down Antics, and now you can start flooding through the front, you would feel. But it does not do enough here, Austin, to upset the spawn. So Texas A&M still very much so in this hill.
Yeah, still very much in it. Chance still to break. The holes have not been here, but if there's one hill you're going to hold and get over 100 points, you feel like it's this one here, Texas A&M. Push comes through the front. Blake's good for the first, gets damage, and takes up the second, but Quiet is dealt with. Antics now needs to deal with the rest of the reinforcements, and he's able to find 2 out front, but the spawns no longer in favor of Texas A&M as Jose finds 1. Kills are coming through. 3 players going to drop down. Blake, the last one up, and he can't find anything. Spawns are good. Hill is good. And, well, New Mexico State is also good as they lock in the final seconds. Put Texas in the 100-point club and get it done in 4.
Sheesh. That is a, that's unfortunate map number 4 if you are Tamu, especially the way that they were playing through the hotel control. I mean, I was expecting a lot more fight. I will say that much. It's just how proactive this New Mexico State team was. Almost gifted a lot of these different rotations for Texas A&M. It just felt like that if you are Tamu, you were trying to force out a lot of these gunfights, trying to force out a lot of these positions. I mean, they were down by what, like 30 points halfway through P2, and they felt like they needed to push inside of P2 for 20 seconds. That was micro error number 1, and then it just all started to be a giant snowball effect that just went down like this steep 65-degree angle hill, and it did not slow up at all because it was just New Mexico State that was feasting upon all of these errors that Tamu were gifting them continuously. Players like Jolteon that was just going unnoticed through a lot of these different instances. Phenom doing Phenom things. It will be quite prevalent through a lot of these different highlights that it always felt like New Mexico State were gifted the spawns over towards New. Texas A&M were over-investing to try to win. Even falling back to that map number 1 problem that we were talking about, they were getting themselves set up a lot of the times, but it was in eternal fashion. Those players that were pushed up just could not come up with enough kills to be able to maintain the space.
Certainly could not, man. Tough one without a doubt for Texas A&M. Looks so good in that control, but the hard points just could not get it done. The search and destroy, I feel like, would almost love to have like every single round back with the amount of 1v1s and 1v2s that we saw. First bloods were great. The closeouts were not. A lot of things to work on going forward, but did give New Mexico State a bit of a fight here. Just did not happen, unfortunately, in the hard points. That's really where the story was told on their half as they close it out. 3-1 victory. Another win here for the Aggies. I mean, these guys are looking extremely solid, especially when it comes down to the way that they play hardpoint, their ability to take away space, push up, and just put you in the blender. It feels like it is so difficult to deal with, and well, we saw it there from Texas A&M's point of view.
24-18 for Phenom. Goes on a 6-3. Saw Oze just being annoying. 22-17. Jolteon didn't even reach double-digit deaths. 2,700 damage, 8 assists for both him and Electric MC also had 8 assists as well, even at 13 and 16, 25 seconds of hill time. It's just the absolute nuisance that is Fortress Hardpoint that was just being absolutely exploited by the Aggies of New Mexico State. And again, it needs to be talked about. I mean, Quiet had himself a real pop-off. Map number 3, we got to see what this guy is really all about, but where consistency comes to mind, and it seems that Tamu are certainly lacking it.
Certainly lacking. Take another look at the series layout, see how it all came together. First 2 maps, of course, good. It's a 6-0. Still stand by the fact that that was one of the closest 6-0s I think I've ever casted in my entire life. So many rounds could have been won. A lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, but just could not get the job done in the majority of those rounds. And then we see a complete turnaround in the control. Maybe we're thinking there's a chance to build off of it, send it to a map 5, but not to be, not to happen. Fortress, apparently one of New Mexico State's bread and butters, as it would seem, watching them play that map as they get it done and close it out, Andy.
I said, Austin, rarely wrong when it comes down to predicting map sets. Okay, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm actually really wrong when it comes down to like CDL map picks.
Track.
Well, I mean, as far as CDL is concerned, because I mean that's just a hayfest of like what the hell is even happening anymore. But like when it comes down to CCL, I mean this one was all but done and dusted. Again, I felt like it should have been a 3-0. Obviously, if you're New Mexico State, you take that with a grain of salt because I saw what they were going for, especially off the first 2 maps. I've been feeling myself too. I mean, we're smoking these guys. So you can absolutely take all these challenges in the world, but definitely want to make sure that their hotel control does get brushed up just a little bit. But New Mexico State, nonetheless, pretty damn good so far.
Looking good. Another win tallied up. And, well, we have to also give another big thank you to our sponsors, again, for helping us put this on, making sure this is possible for you guys, America's Navy, as well as Fandom. If you guys are looking for some more information, the Navy allows you to earn a college education at their expense while enlisted. You can attend classes even while on the ship, and you can also get offers for world-class training using cutting-edge equipment and technology. Prepare enlisted men and women to maximize their potential. Make sure you guys head over to America's Navy and check them out as we head on to break, because we got to set up our next match, the last one of the night. Don't go too far, guys. More Call of Duty coming up after this.